Okay, so here we keep going on the left angle cross of the plane, 6263 profile. The peacemaker, that's a joke by the way, but you have to be an American to understand that. In 1845, a man by the name of a Colt invented the pistol, a hand gun, the Colt 45. It was a gun that carried 6 shots in it. It was very easy to use. It had a very quick action and was made very inexpensively. It was, I believe, the very first mass-produced weapon. It was called the Peacemaker. So many people don't really get some of these lines or keynotes because they're associated with double entendres they don't have access to. So it's always good to know that when you look at this line, imagine somebody with a gun in their hand. That helps, sort of gives them clarity to it. Speaking of love, the discipline and integrity of a superior force to earn all literally, it sounds like George again, cease conflict to permit surrender and survival of its foe. Wow, the highest form of reason that life is sacred. I love this line. You go through a third line phase, and when you go to the third line phase, what you go through is the whole process of allegiance and felt allegiance teaches you. You go through the bonds made and broken. You see the whole trip that is connected with that. And that everything that you learned at the third line stage was about destruction. Think about what the third line brings. The third line brings destruction of old forms at a price, an acceptable price, but nonetheless, thematically, it's destruction. So if you're a sixth line being, you have to see that one of the things that nurtured you when you were young was that relationship can be destroyed, that these are partners that will destroy it, that you're capable of destroying it. There's all these things that are in it. And of course, the binary between being the most fertile and open, so it's the one that can bring forth life the easiest, but it's also the most deeply connected to destruction. It's only natural or logical. But the six says, I know the way it all works. So I tell you what, my way or the highway. Just like that, my way or the highway. And they don't do it that way. They're sixes after all. They're role models. They will walk their way, and you know by the way that they walk that they're never going to be able to change anything about that, interfere with anything in that. That's nothing more incredibly powerful than the 6 6. Why do you think that the 26 6 is justice? Oh, baby, we will bring you justice. And what's it all about? What is this arbitration and the peacemaker bring? They bring an understanding that it's all about the conditions upon which we meet. It's all about the conditions. And it's all about seeing that under certain condition, it's all right to meet. And under certain condition, it's not. And that the first condition that must be eliminated is that you're meeting to roof shoes. Number one, get rid of that. The 59-6 and the 6-6 are truly not very versatile. That's fading fast. And the condition for the 5 and the 6 is basically the game. It's basically my way or the highway, except the 5 plays the game of saying let somebody else tell us where the highway is. But the 6 is very clear. And you can see that when the 6-6 that is mutative. It's a 6-2 in this context. But when you get to the Chiron phase, they don't need a lover. They're not looking for the other side to see if there's somebody for them. They just learn something from everything they see. On the Monday level, all of these lines, the way we train people to read them, you can see how obvious it is at the level. It's so superficial. It works that way for the not self. But you really have to see that when you get to the 5 here. You get to the 6, you leave behind sex. You're only interested in knowledge. You're only interested in experience. You feed right into the 36, the dreams of just giving me more experience so I get closer to clarity. Wow, it's quite something now. Okay, now then we go for the 46 gate. We slowly get into the cross of the right angle cross of the vessel of love. Hmm.